So let's talk about a simple, but honestly, a pretty profound idea. It's one that might just change the way you see your own mind. It's called the gift of the empty room. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life is just too loud? You know, that feeling that your own thoughts are being completely drowned out by the constant noise of the world. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, well, you are definitely not alone. And that right there, that's the real problem, isn't it? We're living in a world where this constant digital echo is basically running our days for us. And if we're not careful, we risk never actually getting to know ourselves. We actually have a name for this feeling, this state of being where we're just overwhelmed by all the outside noise. We call it living in a loud cage. It's that feeling of being controlled by things outside of us, our phones, our social feeds, that endless scroll.
I mean, really think about it. For so many of us, the very first thing we do when we wake up is reach for that glowing screen. We fill our heads with other people's lives, their opinions, their drama, all before we've even had a chance to just check in and say good morning to ourselves.
To really get what this feels like, I want to tell you a little story. Let's imagine a place called The Village Without Sound and a fable about its silent clock tower.
Okay, so picture this. A small, cozy town with a giant clock tower right in the middle of it all. Every hour, on the hour, this massive bell would ring out, telling people exactly when to work, when to eat, and when it was time to rest. That clock, it became the heartbeat of their lives.
And over time, something strange started to happen. The villagers, they kind of stopped looking at the sun. They stopped listening to their own bodies. They didn't really feel the day anymore. They just followed the sound of the bell. Their whole lives just became this cycle of rushing and noise.
And then, one morning, the unthinkable happened. The whole town just fell into this deep, sudden silence. The bell didn't ring.
And the reaction? Oh, it was instant chaos. Without that sound telling them what to do, people felt completely lost. There was panic, there was anger, just this heavy, thick confusion. They felt useless, like their entire purpose had just vanished with the silence.
Okay, let's just pause the story right here for a sec. I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you actually sat in silence? I mean, real silence. No music, no podcast, no TV in the background. Just 10 minutes. For a lot of us, it's been a very long time.
All right, back to our village. So while everyone else is in a total panic, this one quiet girl, her name's Mia, she does something completely different. She doesn't freak out, she just finds a bench, sits down, and takes a breath. And in that quiet moment, something just clicked for Mia. She had this huge realization. The silence, it wasn't empty at all. It was actually full of everything the noise had been hiding. For the first time, she could hear the wind, the birds, even the sound of her own steady heartbeat. So here's the big twist, right? The clock was never just a tool for telling time. It had become their master. It was controlling their lives. And, this story is a perfect metaphor for how the constant pings and alerts from our devices do the exact same thing to us. And that realization, that's everything. It brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today, embracing the gift of emptiness and really learning how to find rest in the quiet. So what in the world is the empty room? Well, it's not about loss or being lonely. It's about creating an intentional space for yourself, a space totally free from digital noise, where you can find some clarity, get some real rest, and maybe rediscover who you are. It's understanding that this emptiness isn't some scary void. It's actually a space that's full of potential. So what's the big payoff for creating the space? Solitude. The good kind. The kind of quiet that finally lets you hear your own heart, your own intuition, without all the fear and judgment of the outside world screaming over it. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Right. Well, this next part is a simple, practical workflow you can start using this week. We're calling it your weekly digital Sabbath. And the workflow itself is just beautifully simple. First, and this is key, you have to schedule it. Just 1 hour once a week. Put it in your calendar. Second, all screens off. No excuses. Total digital silence. Third, find a quiet space. Could be a corner in your home, a park bench, anywhere. And finally, this is probably the hardest part. Simply be. Your only job is to not have a job. Just sit. Just breathe. And just notice what you find in the quiet.
Practicing this is really an act of liberation. It's you making a conscious choice to put down all that digital weight you've been carrying around. It's about letting go of all the noise that was never really yours to begin with.
And I just want to leave you with this one last thought. In the quiet, in your own empty room, you're going to discover that not all progress needs an audience. You are growing, you are becoming who you're meant to be, even when no one is there to clap for you. And that, right there, is the true gift.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.